First time I ever started selling drugs was around 12.
12 years old?
Yeah, in middle school. Getting small amounts of weed, cocaine, anything that I could sell to make a little bit of money. 14, when we were living here, is when I got my first large amount. I got my first pound of weed. They were building Cool Springs Galleria. It wasn't even up yet. And I was living in some apartments called the Landings right behind it. That was after Franklin High School. Went there for a year, got into a bunch of trouble, running from the police, skipping school, fighting. And so my mom had tried to move us more, once again, fresh start, move us out towards Cool Springs. I went to Brentwood High School, which was, once again, another culture shock. Just those different environments, which really taught me that the environment doesn't change the person.
Yeah.
You can adapt to the environment if you're willing. And the environment can definitely inspire you, or, you can progress or fall backwards if you allow the environment to affect you like that. But the person's the person, regardless where she put me, I was still the same person. I might change the way I dressed. I might change my accent a little bit, but I was always the same person deep inside. So Brentwood High School, get a pound of weed from a guy, an older kid, and broke it up. And I remember the day they opened Cool Springs, I was in there with a backpack full of dime bags.
No shit.
All my friends were like walking around trying to holler at the girls, and I'm trying to sell dime bags of weed. I've got this backpack full of, a pound of weed. And that was 94, 95, so I was 14, 15.
So what was the conversation like with whoever gave you the pound of weed? I mean, they were just like, hey, here's a pound of weed.
No, it was me looking for it.
You were looking for it?
Yeah, I was always looking for it. I had kind of decided, so I spent the weekends throughout my childhood a lot of times either going to shooters in Waylands or going out and seeing my dad's side of the family in West Nashville. So when I would go out there with my Uncle Tadpole to West Nashville as a child, that's when I was around a lot of that. And I'd see the guys that were like, hustling and selling weed and selling cocaine. And so I had pretty much made a decision by the time I was 12 that I want to be a drug dealer.
Okay.
We were just talking about the other day in the gym with my friend Bobby. I was like, man, I still want to go get those Jordans from 92, the red and black ones.
I know what you're
that
talking
had the
about.
cross over it. And they had the blue and purple ones, and then they had the red and black ones, and the things cross across the front of them, because I couldn't afford them back then. My mom couldn't afford to get them for me. And I remember a guy named Randy Reiser, he had them with the matching Bulls jersey, and I can remember it like yesterday. I wanted those shoes,
yeah.
Both pair, the Charlotte colored ones and the Chicago Bulls colored ones. So we were just talking about that the other day, but it was around that era, moving to Nashville and seeing, guys that I would hear were selling drugs, and, they had the shoes I wanted, or they had the pretty girlfriend, or they had a car, before they were even old enough to drive. And so I had realized at a young age that I wanted to do that.
So was the money.
It was the money. I was tired of seeing my mama struggle. I wanted to make something. I was hearing my mother say that. I can do it without you. I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own. I could hear my dad's voice. Son, sometimes you might have to do wrong for what's right. You take care of your family by any means necessary. It's okay to do wrong if it's for the right reasons. Those irrational beliefs that were instilled in especially poverty areas, and the families, and it's that way of thinking, it's like, by any means necessary, whatever you got to do to feed your family, try not to hurt nobody, but whatever you got to do, family over everything.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of prison, stripping those irrational beliefs, tearing down all those, those things that I had been ingrained with and taught for years as being law and truth, and realizing like, no, that's completely fucking irrational.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, protect your family by any cost. But when I went to prison, the same people that I had justified all my actions and said, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this to feed my kids, I'm doing this to give my kids a better life, they're the ones that ended up in the fucking projects, in drug houses, being molested and drugged through the mud while I'm in prison and can't protect them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they became the victims when I justified all my fuck shit and all my poor decisions by I was being a man and taking care of my family, when in actuality, I almost ruined my family. They went through so much because of the decisions I made. So that was a major, major part of my transformation.
Okay.
And me saying, here I am in prison, a guy that thinks I've got everything figured out and I've got all this control. I've got this power in the street. I've got this power through money. I've got this say-so. I have no control. I'm behind bars. Anything can happen to them. They're going through this and I can't do anything. Yeah, I can maybe send a friend over there to try to protect them if something happened, or I can send a friend over there with a couple dollars to cover rent. But that's not, the mother of my children was falling victim to addiction. So she's dragging them through the mud. She died 2 years ago from a drug overdose, my youngest three's mom. So watching that happen and saying, I don't have any control.
Yeah.
At this point, the only control I have is of me and of what I do at this time. And the control, the opportunity to sit here and figure out what I want out of life, who I want to be, who I am, who am I, who do I not want to be, and who do I want to be.
Yeah.
And stripping all of that out, getting rid of all of it.
Thank you for checking out the Shawn Ryan Clips channel. If you want to check out the full episode of the clip that you just watched, you can do that by clicking right up here. If you want to subscribe to the main channel, The Shawn Ryan Show, where all the full episodes live, you can do that by clicking right here. If not, please give us a like, subscribe, and a comment below. Thank you for being here.